The sky over the distant planet glowed with strange colors, streaks of red and blue blending into a smoky twilight. From the clouds, a silver ship descended, unlike any the aliens had ever seen. It was Earth's prototype, a vessel built by humans, small but filled with secrets far beyond their imagination. The alien scientists on the surface stared in disbelief, whispering to each other, mocking the tiny ship as they shook their heads. Inside the ship, a young human engineer named Kale tightened his gloves, his heart beating fast. He had never been this far from Earth before, and now he was about to face beings who thought humans were nothing but weak and laughable. Kale's eyes scanned the alien city below, towers of black metal and glowing crystals rising like sharp teeth. He could see strange creatures moving, their forms elegant yet intimidating, their eyes glowing with suspicion and intelligence. On the ground, a group of alien women scientists waited, their faces serious, their eyes full of fear and knowledge. They had studied the human ship for months, and now they knew its secrets. His secrets the alien council wanted to destroy. The council had decreed that no one could know these secrets, and anyone who tried would pay with their lives. The alien women had tried to warn the council, but the rulers did not listen, and their punishment was already planned. Kale stepped out of the ship, his boots touching the alien metal surface with a quiet thud. The wind carried a strange scent, like burning metal and wet stone, and Kale felt a shiver run down his spine. He tried to appear calm, but inside, he was thinking about the stories he had heard on Earth, about humans who fought against impossible odds. Now, he wondered if he could be one of those humans, if he could make a difference on this strange planet. Suddenly, alarms rang across the alien city, red lights flashing and sirens screaming. Kale watched as guards rushed toward the alien women, their weapons drawn and ready. The women raised their hands, not in surrender, but as if to protect the secrets they held. Kale's heart pounded, and he knew he had to do something, but he had no plan, no idea what could save them. The alien council appeared on a high balcony, their robes shining with authority, their faces cold and hard. They pointed at the women, declaring that those who knew the deadly secret must be executed immediately. The crowd gasped, and Kale felt a strange anger rising inside him, a fire that told him he could not let this happen. He stepped forward, but before he could speak, the women were grabbed, dragged toward the execution platform. Struggling but brave, Kale's mind raced, trying to remember everything he knew about the prototype, about Earth's hidden power. He realized that the ship held something the aliens could not control, something that might save the women if he acted fast. But how? He had only just arrived, and the council's soldiers were everywhere, watching, waiting, ready to strike. Kale took a deep breath, knowing that his first choice here could change everything. For the women, for Earth, and for himself. The alien women looked back at him, their eyes full of hope and fear, silently begging for help. Kale nodded, even though he was unsure what he would do, and started moving toward the ship's control panel. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him, the chance to show that humans were not weak, not foolish, not to be laughed at. As the council prepared to begin the execution, Kale knew one thing clearly: this was only the beginning, and the real story was about to unfold. The alien council's platform glimmered under the red sky. High above the city, the crowd below fell silent, waiting for the judgment of the women, who had dared to know too much. Kale watched from the edge of the square, his fingers trembling as he stared at the soldiers dragging the alien women forward. He could feel the weight of every eye on him, and a shiver of fear ran down his spine. The leader of the council, a tall figure with glowing eyes, raised his hand, signaling the start of the execution. Kale's heart raced, and he knew time was slipping away like sand through fingers. He glanced at the alien women, their faces calm despite the terror around them. They whispered a word that made Kale freeze, a warning about the deadly secret that could destroy worlds if misused. The soldiers placed the women on the edge of the platform, their hands bound with shimmering chains. Kale took a deep breath and edged closer to the prototype ship. Searching for a way to unlock its hidden power, he remembered the codes he had studied back on Earth, the secret sequences that could activate emergency protocols. If he could reach the control panel, maybe, just maybe, he could save them. A soldier noticed him moving and shouted, pointing a weapon. Kale ducked behind a metal pillar, his mind spinning. The crowd gasped as the council raised their glowing staffs, ready to strike. Every second felt like a lifetime, and Cale knew he had to act now, or the women would be lost forever. He pressed the buttons on the ship, heart pounding, and a strange hum filled the air. Lights flickered across the city as the prototype began to shine with energy no alien had ever seen. The chains binding the women started to glow, vibrating as if responding to the ship's power. The soldiers stepped back, confused and frightened by the strange force. Cale shouted to the alien women, "Trust me, follow my lead." The women nodded slightly, eyes wide with hope and fear. He activated a sequence that opened a hidden compartment in the ship. A beam of light shot upward, creating a shield around the women and Cale, keeping them safe from the Council's weapons. The Council roared in anger, their faces turning red with fury. "This is impossible," one of them shouted, disbelief echoing through the platform. Cale didn't answer. He focused on the controls, searching for the next step. The women whispered instructions, guiding him toward the secret the Council wanted to destroy. Cale realized the secret was not just knowledge, it was a key. A formula hidden inside the prototype. It could give life, destroy weapons, or change the balance of power across galaxies. He had to be careful. One wrong move could end everything. The execution platform began to crack under the strain of the ship's energy, sending sparks and smoke into the red sky. The alien women held on to Cale, their trust in him absolute. Soldiers shouted orders, but the shield kept them back, giving Cale a chance to act. He took a deep breath and pressed the final button. A pulse of energy shot across the platform, knocking guards back and illuminating the city with a brilliant white light. Cale stared at the alien women, their eyes wide and grateful. The Council's leaders glared, powerless against the sudden display of human ingenuity. Cale knew this was only the beginning, that the Council would not give up easily. But for now, the women were alive, and a small spark of hope had been lit. In a galaxy that had laughed at Earth, the city was in chaos. The air thick with smoke and the hum of the prototype's energy. Cale stood behind the alien women, his hands trembling slightly as he watched the Council regroup. The leaders were furious, their glowing eyes burning with anger and disbelief. Cale knew they would strike again, stronger this time, and he had to make a choice fast. The alien women whispered to him, their voices urgent but calm. "The secret. It is dangerous, Cale, but you can use it to save us all." Cale nodded, his mind racing, thinking of the stories of human courage he had heard on Earth. Now it was his turn to prove that humans could act where others hesitated. He glanced at the platform, still unstable from the energy pulse. The Council's guards were advancing, their weapons glowing with deadly power. Cale took a deep breath and made a decision. He would use the prototype fully, even if it meant risking everything. He pressed a series of buttons, activating the ship's hidden systems. A soft hum grew into a roar as beams of white light shot into the sky. The prototype began to levitate slightly, its metal body glowing brighter than the city below. Cale felt the energy flow through him, strange and powerful, like he was connected to something far greater than himself. The Council shouted orders, but the lights of the prototype blinded their eyes. The soldiers stumbled, confused by the sudden force. Cale grabbed the hands of the alien women and pulled them toward a hidden hatch in the platform. They followed, without hesitation, trusting him completely, as they descended. The women whispered more about the secret. "It is not just knowledge, Cale, it is a choice, a key to change everything." Cale's heart pounded, realizing the weight of what he held in his hands. He was no longer just a visitor on this alien world. He was its protector, its hope. The hatch led to a narrow corridor, winding beneath the Council's platform. Cale could hear the guards shouting above, trying to regain control. He ran with the women, dodging sparks and falling debris. Every step felt like a test of courage, every second like a battle against time. At the end of the corridor, Cale reached a control chamber, the heart of the prototype. He placed his hands on the panel, feeling the energy respond to his thoughts. The alien women watched him, their faces a mix of fear and hope. Cale realized he could use the prototype to shield them, to escape, and maybe even turn the tide against the Council. But the energy was unstable, threatening to explode if misused. Cale hesitated. He had remembered the stories of humans who had faced impossible odds. He made a choice, pressing the final sequence, letting the prototype unleash its full potential. A wave of light and sound erupted, shaking the platform and sending the guards flying back. Cale turned to the alien women, their eyes wide with awe. For the first time, They saw not a weak human, but a being capable of courage, intelligence, and compassion. Kale smiled slightly, knowing that the choice he had made would change the course of their lives forever. And as the light faded, the path ahead became clear: escape, survival, and the beginning of something far greater than anyone had imagined. The air was thick with smoke and dust as Kale led the alien women through the twisting corridors beneath the platform. Every sound echoed like a warning, every shadow seemed to hide danger. The council soldiers were not far behind, their weapons glowing as they searched for the escapees. Kale's heart pounded, but he kept moving. Knowing that hesitation could mean death, the alien women whispered, pointing toward hidden tunnels and secret passages. "These ways are old, built before the council ruled," one said. Kale followed closely, his mind racing. Remembering the controls of the prototype, the ship's energy pulsed in his pocket, ready to help, but he could not rely on it too soon. Suddenly, a patrol appeared, their glowing spears cutting through the darkness. Kale grabbed the nearest woman and pushed her behind a metal pillar. He pressed a button on the prototype, sending a small pulse of light that blinded the guards. The women moved silently, following Kale's lead as the soldiers stumbled, shouting in confusion. The tunnels opened into an alien marketplace, deserted and strange. Shops with glowing crystals and floating devices lined the streets. Kale led the group through narrow alleys, ducking under broken signs and debris. Every turn brought them closer to freedom, but also closer to being caught. The women spoke softly, sharing more about the secret they carried. "It is a key to life and destruction," one whispered. Kale nodded. Understanding the weight of their knowledge, he knew the council would do anything to stop them. And now they were in open territory, exposed. A sudden alarm rang across the city, echoing through the alleys. Kale's stomach tightened as he realized the council had activated tracking drones. The sky filled with hovering devices, scanning every corner and movement. Kale pressed another button on the prototype, creating a small shield that hid their presence. They ran through the streets, leaping over fallen pillars and cracked walkways. Kale led the women toward a hidden landing pad where the prototype ship waited. The drones hovered closer, their lights scanning the shadows. Kale's mind raced, thinking of ways to distract the council and buy more time. A massive shadow fell over the council warship, its engines glowing like molten fire. Kale froze for a moment, fear clawing at him. The alien women grabbed his hands, urging him forward. He pressed the prototype's override, sending a blinding beam into the sky. The warship's sensors scrambled, giving them a small window to run. They reached the landing pad, but it was surrounded by soldiers. Kale took a deep breath, activating the ship's full energy. The ground shook as the prototype lifted, creating a force field that pushed the soldiers back. The women climbed aboard quickly, their faces a mixture of fear and hope. Kale sat at the control panel, hands steady despite the adrenaline. He set the course for the edge of the council's territory. The ship rose into the sky, dodging energy blasts and drone attacks. The city below shrank, the council shouting in frustration as the human and the alien women escaped. As the prototype flew toward the horizon, Kale looked at the women. Their eyes shone with gratitude and wonder. For the first time, they truly saw what humans were capable of. Clever, brave, and determined, even in the face of impossible danger. Kale smiled, knowing the chase was not over. The council would not forget, and the secret still weighed heavily on them. But for now, they were alive, and hope was alive too. The galaxy was watching, and a human had just begun to change everything. The prototype soared above the alien planet, cutting through the clouds like a silver arrow. Kale sat at the controls, hands steady, heart still pounding from the chase. The alien women stood behind him, their eyes full of hope and wonder. For the first time, they felt safe, but the secret they carried was heavier than ever. Kale glanced at the glowing panel, the energy of the prototype responding to his thoughts. The women spoke softly, explaining the final part of the secret. "It is a formula," Kal-El once said, "a power that can destroy or save entire worlds. In the wrong hands, it could bring death to millions, but in the right hands, it can protect life." Kal-El nodded, understanding the responsibility he now held. The council had underestimated humans, laughing at Earth's small prototype, but now they would see that courage, intelligence, and heart could change the galaxy. Kale's mind raced, planning how to show the council that humans were more than they had imagined. The council's warships appeared on the horizon, blocking the way. Their weapons glowed like molten fire, ready to strike. Kale took a deep breath, hands steady, and activated the prototype's hidden systems. A pulse of light erupted from the ship, creating a barrier that pushed the Council ships back. The alien women joined Kale at the controls, guiding him through the steps of the secret. Together, they activated the formula, sending a wave of energy across the city below. Buildings glimmered as shields rose to protect the innocent. The Council screamed in disbelief, their power challenged by the courage of one human and a few brave aliens. Kale realized that humans were not weak, and Earth's prototype was not just a ship. It was a symbol of human potential, of ingenuity and bravery. The alien women looked at him with respect, their fear replaced by admiration. Kale smiled, knowing that trust and courage had won where weapons had failed. The Council's leaders glared, powerless against the combined force of humans and the alien women. Kale spoke through the ship's communication system, his voice calm but strong. Your punishment cannot silence knowledge, and it cannot destroy hope. Humans and allies will protect what is right. We will not let fear rule the galaxy. The warships retreated, the city below saved for the first time in decades. The alien women hugged Kale, grateful for his bravery and quick thinking. He looked out at the horizon, knowing this was only the beginning. Earth had sent its first prototype, and the galaxy had learned that humans were not to be underestimated. Kale's heart swelled with pride, but he knew the responsibility was far from over. The secret was safe, the women were alive, and the Council had been challenged. Humans had changed the course of history on this alien world, and somewhere in the stars, Kale knew more adventures awaited, more challenges, and more opportunities. To prove that humanity could rise above fear, as the prototype disappeared into the distance, the sky turned from red to gold. The alien women looked at Kale, hope shining in their eyes. He smiled back, knowing that one human had made a difference, and the galaxy would never forget the courage of those who dared to protect life, knowledge, and truth.